What is silver and gold, fragile and bold, the folly of the young and the old, that can leave you burned by fire and seared by bitter cold? It is a question you cannot hope to answer unless you are willing to take a fragile heart in your hands and swear never to let it go. Come sit with me by the fire. I have something that I wish to share. The world was silver that night. The fields glowed like frost. The air hummed with a strange quiet that comes only when the moon grows too large for the sky. The moon hung swollen and white above the valley, a silver coin pressed against the sky. Fields of flax and barley shimmered beneath it. Every hedge, every stone wall, bright enough to cast its own shadow. The boy's name was Jan, and he climbed a narrow path from the old mill road, his boots whipping through the grass. He knew the way by heart, the turn by the oak, the dip where the earth grew soft. His heart beat faster with every step, for at the crest of the hill, she might be waiting. Making his way uphill, threading the narrow lanes that wound between hedgerows and low stone walls, their moss slick with moonlight. Farmhouses lay scattered through the valley below, quiet, crouched things of timber and slate, their windows faintly aglow like embers in the dark. He could smell the peat fires burning, hear the slow creak of a barn door shifting on its hinge, and somewhere the bleat of a restless ewe carried thin and plaintive through the still air. He walked with his coat open, unaired by the cool evening air. Each step brought him higher, where the mists thinned and the world spread wider. The hills rolling on, their curves softened by the light until they met the pale rim of the horizon. The climb cleared his head. The quiet seemed to press against him, not as emptiness, but as a kind of company. Somewhere above, a barn owl crossed the path of the moon, wings soundless, a ghost upon silver. Jan slowed as he neared the summit, his breath steadying. His father's words still clung to him like burrs he could not shake. Too young to know what love is, too naive to see how it ruins futures and breaks young hearts. Jan scoffed. Under the supermoon, those warnings felt distant, thin, like the last drops of a summer rain that vanish before they touch the earth. He tightened his grip on the small parcel wrapped in linen. He had folded the cloth himself, carefully, as any craftsman trying to knot twice to be sure. Inside was a promise, something he'd saved for weeks. A breeze carried the scent of wild thyme up the hill, and he thought he heard her laugh in the distance. He smiled despite the nerves twisting in his chest. Tonight, he would give it to her. And whatever came after, he would not regret it. Alicia paused in the doorway, her mother's words catching like an errant nail on the hem of her skirt. She'd been listening to them argue for hours, her and her father, over the cost of fruit, of all things. Lately, it seemed that they could quarrel over the weather, if nothing else was present. She could hardly remember a time when there'd been laughter in that house. "Where are you going?" Her mother's voice cut through the din. "Is it that boy? I told you he's no good. Keep this up and you can get out of my house. I won't have that carry-on under my roof." Alicia froze, anger and fear. What a strange taste they made together. For a long time, she stood there, half in, half out, one foot in the only life she'd ever known, and the other already reaching for something she couldn't name, but couldn't turn away from either. The night beyond was pale and endless, the supermoon waiting above like a silent witness. Jan, reaching the clearing, a circle bathed in brilliant white light, the trees around it leaning close as though sharing secrets through their whispering canopies. He lingered there for a long, long while, breath slowing, the sweat of his run turning cold against his skin. The night hummed softly, the air heavy with the scent of moss and moonlight. When his heartbeat eventually settled, a strange stillness took hold, a dawning quiet that felt almost like understanding. The smile he'd worn, broad and boyish, faltered into something smaller, sadder. The stars above, in their ancient wisdom, seemed to watch without pity. What if she didn't come? What if she really didn't mean to keep her promise? What if he'd imagined it all, and his connection between them was nothing more than a wild fantasy, just like his father had said? There was a tap on his shoulder, and the spell was broken. He turned. Alicia. Her cheeks were flushed, eyes bright with defiance and something gentler beneath. "Is that it?" she asked, nodding towards the parcel in his hands. "Yes," he said, lost in her eyes. Well, my friend, that's all I've got time for. The roads are long and winding, but they have a way of crossing again. So when next you find yourself wandering this way, you'll know where to find me. Safe travels.